the top of this chart, which I call the industry hierarchy. Market commonality means that between you and your competitors, the market you target, for example, if you are company A, you might have 10 product lines. These 10 product lines and B company, they also have 10 product lines. So you company A and company B will not have all 10 product lines completely overlapping. You might have a higher overlap with company A and company B, but in this industry, there are also company C and company D. Now, you are company A, you, company A, and company B. The overlap with company B is 80%, but the overlap with company C is 40%. So obviously, who is more likely to be your competitor? It is market commonality. The one with higher similarity to you will be your competitor. Okay, because the traditional definition of a competitor is someone who provides the same or similar products or services as you. However, in business practice, we are not single product companies. We are multi-product companies. So the market you face, your target market, will not be just one. You may have several. Okay? Just like even a mobile phone brand, HTC or Samsung or Xiaomi, they have different product series of high, medium, and low tiers. If the overlap in different product series is higher, then the market commonality between these two companies is higher, and they will consider each other as competitors. All right, so at this point, we can discuss competitors in more detail. The higher the market commonality, no problem. The higher the market commonality, the more likely you and that company will become competitors. Another point is that if the resource similarity is higher, even though there is no direct confrontation with you now, it is very likely that at the next point in time, or when you are targeting the next customer group, they have the same capability to compete with you in that market segment. Okay, for example, take an airline. The most important resource for an airline is its fleet, such as whether it has Airbus A300, A330, A320, A380, or Boeing 737, 747, 777, 787. Different fleets can fly different routes. So there are those that are for relatively short to medium routes. For example, within the Asian region, like the 737, which is for shorter routes, and the Airbus A300, 320, which are also shorter. Now, even though it doesn't fly, for instance, it doesn't fly from Taipei to Ho Chi Minh City. So currently, maybe only 10 airlines are flying from Taipei to Ho Chi Minh. Perhaps at this time, only EVA Air is flying. But China Airlines also has a 300 and a 330. Theoretically, it can also fly from Taipei to Ho Chi Minh. It's just not flying there now. So when you are determining who might be your future competitor, resource similarity becomes an important factor. In the industry, you can definitely see that some companies, although they are not currently targeting the same market or market segment as you, could very likely become your competitor at the next point in time. So the first thing is how we conduct competitor analysis, which is to assess whether it has high market commonality and high resource similarity. Okay, that's the first point. The second point is, if it is your competitor, what will the interaction between you and them look like? When a company takes an action, will its competitor respond? Will they not respond, or will they respond? If they do respond, will they respond quickly or more slowly? If he wants to respond, he will take the same action. For example, if one company decides to lower the price of product A, then after another company learns about this price reduction, should it also lower the price of its similar competing product? That is a matched response. So responses are divided into matched responses and non-matched responses. Another point is that if the action you take has a large impact, requires more resources, and involves significant changes, we usually call this a strategic action because it is not so easy to execute. For example, if you want to build a new factory, you need land, buildings, equipment, and the technology to implement it. This is a more strategic action. But if you are adding some equipment within existing land, existing factories, and existing production lines, or increasing from 20 production lines to 22, This relatively requires less investment and the change is smaller and it doesn't take as long. This kind of, we would categorize it as tactical actions. So every company may take strategic actions or tactical actions. The easier it is to reverse, the more tactical it is. For example, if you are raising or lowering prices, this is relatively easy. But if you are building a new factory and then want to exit and sell this new factory, that is relatively more difficult. So strategic actions versus tactical actions. Will the competitor respond or not? The speed of his response, whether his response is a matching response or not. If you take strategic action, should he respond with a strategic response, or should he use a tactical response to avoid or mitigate the impact of your strategic action on him? Okay, the basis for judgment here is what we see in red, which we call AMC, meaning awareness, motivation, and capability. Awareness is called Chajue, motivation is Dongji, capability is Nengli. For any action to occur, it must have awareness, motivation, and capability. That action will happen. Okay, it's not just about competition between companies. It's the same for individuals. For example, Evergreen hit the limit down again today, right? Then you need to first know, oh, is it those institutional investors or someone else selling off? So you need to be aware first. So yesterday you should have known, hey, Evergreen seems to have hit the limit down for 2 consecutive days. So will it hit the limit down again tomorrow? So you need to be aware first, right? Now, if you have Evergreen stocks in your hands, you would think, should I buy more or sell some, right? Should I take advantage of the limit down to pick up some more? Or are you very afraid because your purchase cost is very high, so it's close to your bottom line and you should quickly sell it? So you have awareness and you also have motivation. For people without stocks, whether Evergreen hits the limit down or limit up has nothing to do with you. Unless you want to buy stocks, then wanting to buy stocks is your motivation. When is the motivation stronger? If the overlap with your target customer group is higher, your motivation to respond would be stronger. So you need to have awareness, motivation, and also the ability to respond. TSMC is also dropping, but the problem is just buying one share of TSMC costs 5 to 600,000. You need to have the capability. You can't just buy one share when it drops from 600 to 580. You need to have 580,000 in your pocket first. Then when it drops from 580 to 550, do you still want to buy another share? Then you still need to have 55,000, and when it drops from 550 to 520, do you want to buy another one? You need to have 52,000, so you still need to have the ability. Okay, so for any action to occur, you need awareness, motivation, and ability. When you are a business and want to take action, you definitely don't take action blindly. If you take action blindly, you won't have good performance. It's like if you want to confess to a girl today and she's allergic to flowers, giving her flowers would be a wrong action. All right? So although in dynamic competition, we talk about the competitive behavior between firms, this analytical framework can also be applied to the interaction between you and your customers or you and your suppliers. Okay, if it's in ordinary civilian society or in our everyday life, I usually tell students like this. You want to confess to girl A, so you give her flowers, but if she doesn't like flowers, what if she is allergic to flowers? So you originally took this action, the action of giving flowers, hoping she would agree to you saying, okay, let's go have dinner together. Okay, let's go watch a movie together, right? You originally hoped she would give you this response, but if you didn't think ahead and just took that action, then your action would not only be ineffective, but could also have a negative effect. Because if she's allergic to flowers and you give them to her, she might have a full allergic reaction and completely dislike you, right? Then you also have to consider that does she like going out to eat or just eating? And what kind of restaurant does she want to go to? Okay, so you're not just casually asking her out, you must plan ahead. So what does this mean? The competitive behavior between companies is also similar. When you are about to take any action, you must first estimate whether taking this action will attract the other party's attention, whether it will disturb the other party's motivation, whether the other party will respond well. Should respond. In terms of the interaction between competitors, what you most want is to take an action that they won't notice, have no motivation to respond to, or lack the ability to respond to. This is ideal because when they don't notice, have no motivation, and lack the ability to respond, you can achieve your goal. Okay? When you launch an attack, if you encounter more obstacles and defenses, it actually interferes more with the strategic goal you originally wanted to achieve. So when you initially wanted to do this, you might try to make it so that they do not notice or unaware, no motivation to respond, no ability to respond. This is one approach. Another approach is to deliberately let him see it, deliberately make him angry. Oh, and then he will easily refute you. You need to trap him. So the action you take should make it easy for him to notice, give him the motivation to respond, and make it easy for him to respond so he falls into your trap. So awareness, motivation, and capability are the three major determining factors that decide what actions the attacker will take and what kind of response the defender will make. Okay, so this is the red part.